Hello friends, in this video I am going to show you what is HRA, how to calculate HRA in a simple way. We can use HRA component to get tax exemption while filing income tax. At the end of the video, I will show you a sample HRA calculation for better understanding, and we will see some of the online tools available for free to calculate our HRA exemption. Without any further delays, let's get into the video. First and foremost, let's understand what is house rent allowance. House rent allowance is a salary component paid by the employer to an employee to meet their accommodation related expenses. For example, if you are staying in a rented apartment, you can get tax exemption for the amount that you pay as a tax for this financial year. There are some conditions applicable. We will see the conditions and how to calculate all these things in the coming sections. This particular HRA is applicable for both salaried individual as well as the self-employed persons. Now let's look into the factors which has impact while calculating house rent allowance. The first factor is the basic salary you received in a financial year from your employer. The second factor is the total HRA amount you received in a financial year. These two components will be paid on a monthly basis to you. When you look at your salary slip, you will be able to see the monthly basic salary and monthly HRA received. You just need to multiply those values by 12. You will get the yearly salary. The third important factor is the city in which you reside. It can be metro city or non-metro city. If you are living in Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, then those cities are considered as metro cities. Then the last factor is the actual rent you paid in a financial year. These four factors will get involved when we calculate the amount for which we can get tax exemption. We will see that in a coming section. Using these four factors, we can calculate house rent allowance amount using three simplest method. We will discuss that one by one. The first one that we are going to see is using the total house rent allowance paid through your salary. You will get the monthly amount by seeing your payslip. You just need to multiply that by 12. Then you will get how much money you would have received at the end of the year as HRA. The second component is based on the city in which you reside. As I mentioned earlier, if you are living in Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta or Chennai, you will be getting 50%. Else you can claim up to 40% of the basic salary you received. Then third point is that the rent paid minus the 10% of the basic salary. After calculating the total amount, out of these three, whatever comes the lowest, that will taken into the consideration. That is the amount you will get tax exemption for. Whatever lowest comes out of these three minus the total HRA paid as salary, that amount will be taxable. Let's simplify the things that we have learned so far with an example. It is always recommended that we go with an example to understand any concept. Let's look into the example. Let us consider Mr. Ravi is receiving basic salary of 20,000 per month. So the total salary he would have received at the end of the year would be 20,000 multiplied by 12. It would be 2,40,000. And then he is receiving house rent allowance per month as 10,850 rupees. At the end of the year, he would have received around 1,30,200 rupees. And the actual rent he has paid per month is 8,000 rupees. So when we multiply 8,000 by 12, then we will get how much he would have paid as rent at the end of the year. It comes around 96,000. In case the actual rent paid by you goes more than 1 lakh, it is mandatory to submit the PAN number of your landlord. Ravi is living in Delhi, so the city of residence for him would be metro. In case he is staying out of Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, then the city of residence would be non-metro. Let's get into the component calculation. First component is the total house rent allowance paid by the employer to Mr. Ravi, which comes around 1,30,200 rupees that we can see in the above table. Now we need to calculate the second component, which is 50% of Mr. Ravi's base salary. To calculate 50% of his base salary, we have to take the total salary and divide that by 5,500. then we will get around 1,20,000 as his 50% of the base salary. So far we have calculated two components. Out of these, the lowest amount is 50% of his base salary, which comes around 1,20,000. The third and last component that we need to calculate is the total rent paid minus 10% of his base salary. So he paid around 96,000 as rent. We need to subtract that with 2,40,000, which is his yearly base salary, divided by 10 by 100. So the total amount comes around 72,000 rupees. Now we are done with all these three complex calculations. Now the only bending element is that we have to figure out what is the lowest among these three. In this case, the lowest comes as 72,000, which is rent paid minus 10% of Mr. Ravi's salary. So 72,000 rupees is what Ravi can get exemption while filing his tax return. At this stage, we know Ravi can get tax exemption up to 72,000 out of 1,30,200 rupees. That is the total HRA he has received in a financial year. So the remaining amount, when we subtract total HRA received minus the total amount he has got exemption for, which is 72,000, the remaining comes around 58,200 rupees. So that 58,200 rupees will be taxable income. In this section, I will show you some of the online HRA calculator that you can use to simply calculate how much amount of exemption you can get using HRA and how much remaining amount will be taxable as per your tax bracket. I have given these links in the description box. When you go to the first link, you will be asked to fill up this information. You need to enter your base salary received and then the HRA received, then the total rent that you paid in a financial year. Then you have to select whether you live in Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata or Chennai, and then we enter our email ID and then click on calculate. In the next page, it will quickly show you how much money you will get exemption for and then how much money you will be taxed. We have come to the end of the video. I will see you guys in another video. Please do support this channel by subscribing. Thanks.